first of all, is everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, you ever had a player who was getting married in the middle of the season? Like, that is such a crazy story.
It is pretty neat, and he's a great kid, and just shows you the world of, fifth-year seniors, graduate students, transfer portal. Where how does he know where he's going to be a year and a half ago? When he thinks, well, I'll be graduated, and more than a good time to get married. And so I'm glad that he and our program and everybody's going to have to deal with this curveball of life.
Dan, just when you go to Omaha and you look at the thing there with all the dates, every year is different. Is this one, though, because maybe it's, where you were in the middle of the season, end of the season, is this one a little special?
Probably brings a lot of the 07, and my heart, the first team to get there, to make everybody believe, from the administration to the fans, to college baseball, to recruits, that was big. And so, like life, some real highs and some lows, and what we've been through the past couple of years, I would say it's hard for this one to not put a special place in my heart, and let's keep this team going.
Did it make a difference, that final out? I know the other ones, all the stuff we did. I mean, a lot of people forget 2020. I mean, that might have been the best team.
Shea Stadium was
You had to
something.
go to Omaha. The pitching staff you had.
Yeah, in 19, we finished third in the country, and going into 20, we're the preseason number one team. On that team, you had Henry Davis, was only a sophomore at the time, but ends up being the first pick. Reed Detmers is the 10th pick. Bobby Miller is like the 30th pick. And it was, you hate it for those kids because we felt like, we were in a good spot to make a run at it. But as you also know in college baseball, there's no guarantee. You just got to play right at the right time. You got to have talent, so I don't ever want to take talent away from any team that goes to Omaha, but it's the 8 teams that are ultimately playing the best. And it's been fun to watch this group, play its best the last couple weeks.
All the adversity you went through, it really does pay off. Because Pat misses a couple weeks, and you get other starters going. Eddie misses time, you get other guys going. So everything you went through injury-wise, it seems like has helped get you here.
And you say that to the kids throughout the year. Now, maybe it's because I got a gray beard and they trust me. Like, wow, this guy's been through this before. But you preach that throughout the year. It's not just coach speak. It's, hey guys, just from my experience, and not just here at Louisville, but watching, college sports, specifically college baseball, it's great to have a marvelous regular season and great to have very few hiccups and bumps. The problem is sometimes when you get in the postseason, baseball is going to present you some real challenges. And as we talk about it, we see it in softball and we see it in baseball a lot. The number one national team doesn't always make the best run in the postseason. It's so hard. So I felt like this team was more than battle tested. Always got up off the mat when we had some setbacks and struggles. And the good news in college baseball is double elimination. So double elimination while you're in your bracket, and then 2 out of 3 if you make it to the national championship bracket.
6th time you've been there, but the first time for your players. Is there anything that you can say to them this is what you can expect to kind of not let them get distracted?
Yeah, I talked about it when we got back, obviously from the ACC tournament, and then even when we got back from Nashville, about focus on the super regional and be where your feet are. Let's not worry about the destination. And I dropped some hints last week, but then we met on Monday afternoon, just to really tie down what am I talking about? Like, your parents are professional travelers, professional. Like, they have been doing this since you were waist high. They know how to find hotels. They know, don't stress. Not that you're not concerned about them, but don't stress. They've been taking care of you, right, for 20 years. So any information we get, we'll share. And you focus on playing baseball, because you can get overwhelmed. I share that from my own experience. You could get overwhelmed. with friends and ticket requests and this and what are you doing? But I addressed it last week about I'm not into fireworks shows and I'm not into parades and that stuff I could care less about. I appreciate the fan support, but we're going there to play baseball. And so just keeping them on that journey, this foundation has been set. So I feel good about this group.
Your job can be impactful for a lot of reasons. What does it mean to have the Rodman kids out there? I know they've been fans of the program forever, and they're here at every game. But to have them out there, it's pretty cool for them.
And standing there, they'll talk about 07. They'll remember 07, and that kind of jump-started it. And they've been with us through the highs and the lows, and they've been out, to Omaha with us, when we got a chance to honor Nick and that family. And so they're right in the center of this city, and just the excitement has been awesome. What a week, what a weekend. It brings me a lot of joy knowing that, man, people in this city had so much fun. And obviously those all around the world watching on TV, but nothing like the atmosphere and what these people got to experience Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And a couple of guys said that, have said all year, the leadership, the culture, it just feels different this year. You mentioned early in the year about Kamai being a captain after only being here for a few weeks or a few months. Has he been a big part of that in the leadership thing for you this year? Has it been different? Has it felt different?
The leadership has been awesome, and that's a combination of the returners, the guys I mentioned in that press conference on Sunday, the King, Klein, West, Daniel Levitz, Bivin, Forbes, that whole crew, having been here for 3 or 4 years, great leadership because you say they stayed and they stuck with this for the right reasons. We really hit the jackpot on the transfer portal with the older players we brought in. And yes, Kamayu was front and center. He just showed his leadership right out of the chute. Didn't take a back seat. He stepped in and knew that his experience and his preparation, he came in here ready to lead, and he did. And he was voted a captain within months of being here. And you got to give the players a lot of credit. I don't ever want to take a pass as a coach and a leader. It's my job and we're accountable, but if you're going to do something special, special teams are going to have player-driven leadership. And I give this group a ton of credit because, man, our 5 captains as well as all those other guys have done a phenomenal job.
And your lineup, 1 through 9, has been pretty much dangerous the entire time. To get the pitching staff this postseason to kind of get round into form and be dangerous as well. How big is
You can only win with pitching and defense. Especially in the postseason. Now, offense is what we call timely hitting, 2-out hits. Yes, you need all 3 phases, but it starts on the mound. And I will say, and it's been tough the last couple of years, and we probably could have showcased some of that better pitching if we had gotten in the postseason. But having not gotten in, it's great that we see a Coach Williams pitching staff, for the most part, has a great tradition of pitching well in the postseason, where guys are just fresh enough, experienced enough, been through a lot, and I felt like going into this stretch when that last month when Bivin became a starter, Forbes came off the DL, and Eberle grew up, from a freshman reliever to a weekend starter, I felt like going into the postseason, we've got three arms that are hot as starters, and then the bullpen just kind of fell into place.
And how about having Matt back there too?
Yeah, I know. How do we, Matt Klein, the leader, the captain, the catcher, what a blessing to have him back.
You talked so much about the families and the parents along for this ride. Him specifically, his daddy coach him literally going to play here at a much different time. Have you had a chance to see him since you made it to Omaha?
Well, I would say this. I could be wrong, but I believe the Klein family was at every radio show. And I think when you're a local family and you're thinking this is our last go around with our son, and we've been watching Louisville baseball since again a knee high, they were like, we're taking this all in. And so the injury, as I've shared a lot recently, the injury to Matt was brutal. The pain the parents had to go through, not seeing their son get to compete with his teammates in what we thought was going to be such a big year. I felt so bad for the Kleins, but I give them credit because they were at every radio show, they went on every road trip, and Matt was still a captain and a leader. So Matt did a great job of helping those young guys, and so you're happy for everybody. But I gave Matt's dad a hug Sunday, and because that was the goal all along. When he got hurt, I pulled him into my office. We had some heart-to-hearts, and I shared with him, the hitter from LSU that broke his hand, and they did a story on him, and he hits the walk-off World Series home run. And I said, Matt, he missed the whole regular season. Even when he came back, he could only bunt in the conference tournament, the regionals. He couldn't even swing a bat to like the last couple games in Omaha. So I had challenged Matt, you got to see it, you got to believe, and you got to work, and give him credit because he did.
All hands on deck last week with the pitching staff. Do you handle it the same way, or is it different this week?
It is different now because it's every other day, if you're in the winner's bracket especially. So it is a different format. And we were kind of, like you said, all hands on deck almost every game. Like, we didn't announce the 3 starters. So, if we're going to go with Forbes, I would imagine Bivens going to be ready. We don't play till Sunday, and who's to say Everly is not going to be ready. So I think you go into game 1, all hands on deck, and if you have an opportunity, you're always trying to win, but saving somebody, you're only guaranteed 2 games. So you do pitch a little differently in Omaha.
How much is